Welcome back to the Tide Hanger. Happy Friday, everybody. I hope everybody is doing well today. Today I want to talk to you about this Metal Club Muscle Bear Voltron Beast. This is the fourth party KO of the very wonderful Blitzway Carbonics 15-inch version of Voltron, the Lion Bot. And we're going to discuss this. What does this mean for a $700 figure to be knocked off or reproduced in a lower price? Few less accessories, and for only now $184. Now we kind of actually have a roadmap for where this is going because we saw what happened with the SOC, but in my opinion, the original version of the Blitzway is the best Voltron made, and maybe they're going to go further with it. It would be nice if they do, but we're going to talk about all of this and a little bit trip down memory lane coming up. So I want to start out talking about why this matters so much. And the $700 Carbonics Blitzway Fire Pro Studio collaboration to make this 15-inch Voltron is the best Voltron made. But $700 is a very, very steep price. It's a lot of money to expect somebody to pay for a Voltron figure, and it is the most expensive Voltron that's a combining Voltron in a traditional way that we know. But it's really important because of the fact that it is 15 inches and it's done some things different. First off, they've kind of put some flaps to cover up the legs when it's in combined mode, and it is very high-end and premium. It's got some weight behind it. It looks good, feels good, painted really well. I love mine, and the only problem that I had with mine was that some of the leg covers didn't tab into the legs, but it didn't bother me because I didn't want it to rub off the vac metal anyway, so I just kind of left it. It looks fine, it works fine, it executes fine. But with all the paint and all the vac metal, they just didn't have the right tolerances to tab in without a lot of pressure and probably rubbing off that paint and stuff. That was the only issue that I had with mine. And I have to say I'm very pleased. And I've been wanting to get a second set, but for the price, it's just really not affordable to have two of these. Now I find it interesting that they are reissuing this for $575 and $573.99. But at the same time, we see this fourth-party knockoff KO of it coming at the same time. So it starts to bring in some new sort of thought process on what's really going on here. Now, the $575 one is considered the Japanese version, and will have less stuff. It won't come with the stand, and I don't know exactly how many accessories come with it. I would imagine you still get the same number of accessories. It says main figure, eyes of each line equipped with LEDs, includes the 10 King Sword of Space Cutter, accompanied 5 doll same scale as pilots, so you do get the pilots of this one, and then comes with replacement face for Robo Lion, and includes new effect parts for 10 King Sword. So that is the different stuff with it, but I don't believe it comes with a stand, and here's why. They're offering the stand and all these accessories separately for $215. So that is $215 plus $575 together. That's what you got with the original one, I believe. And now you would be paying more than $700. But I still haven't seen every single accessory that goes with this reissue, the Japanese version. And possibly you're going to get some double accessories if you get this upgrade kit. But they call it the Blitzway Carbonics upgrade kit, what you see in front of you for $215. And I have to admit, I don't use the stand at all. But a lot of people out there love the stand. And the stand is phenomenal. It's fantastic. I just don't use it. I keep mine in bot mode. But I probably would use it if I had mine in cat mode. So what do you get for $200? Well, actually, it's $183.99 now. They lowered it by $16. I don't know why. They just did. And that is pretty cool that they put it up for pre-order. I pre-ordered mine day one. Then it kind of looked like it was sold out. Then it came back in stock, and then the price dropped. So that's cool. And if you did pre-order yours, you get the lowest price. That's another thing about Shozi is if you pay for it within 30 days, if they don't drop the price, they will give you credit back for the difference. But this one doesn't tell you everything that it comes with. Obviously, you see it comes with a sword, and I'm assuming it comes with accessories, because it says includes main figure and accessories. They don't tell you how many accessories, but they do show us this picture. Now, I did discuss this on Friday, and some of the comments were actually quite helpful, showing what you get here with this figure, but also showing what you don't get. You don't get the pilots. Obviously, you don't get the stand. And I'm okay with that. I don't need a ton of accessories. I will literally just have him, the shield, and the sword. And I don't need the rest of it, really. But it's nice to have. But the extra pilots would have been a nice touch. But still, you're saving $500 and something, or even compared to the Japanese one, you're still saving $380, something along those lines. This is still a great value, in my opinion. I've got it pre-ordered. I'm definitely going to get it. I'm actually thinking about maybe even getting a second one, a second KO, because this is one of those things that when they knock it off, when they did the Fantasy Jewel one, which we're going to get to here in a little bit, they didn't just keep doing runs of it. They actually put it out one line at a time. Then they had a whole set, which I think retailers just held back a few, and then sold the whole set. And then after that, that's when they didn't make any more. And they just disappeared off the market. There is a YouTube video out there where they show it in action. It looks exactly the same. I just don't see any difference between it. I don't see any quality issues, but it's not in English, so I don't know. I really do not know the quality level of the KO, but somebody got their hands on it, and it didn't look like it was that bad. So I really think that it's going to be on par. We've seen KOs lately coming out on par. I believe it's going to have the same metal of diecast, same amount of metal, same amount of diecast that's in it. And it's listed as having ABS and alloy, meaning alloy as in die-cast metal. So I'm really excited for it, and I cannot wait to do a comparison side by side with the original Carbotics Blitzway. Now, I also want to say that nobody truly knows anything about these third-party companies or these fourth-party companies and what's going on with them. But this could also be what people call a Saturday night special, meaning that as they're producing this Japanese version, they're just keeping the machines running through the night and making some other ones so that the factory can just make some money. That's a possibility of what's going on here too. We're probably not going to get an official box, probably be a brown box special. Nobody really knows. Do they cast their own mold? Nobody knows. This is all pure speculation at that point. But let's get into something that's not pure speculation, what we saw with Fantasy Jewel. Now I'm going to tell you when the SoC came out and they said it was $300, I said that's way too much for what you're getting for a 10-inch figure, 11-inch figure, something along those lines. I haven't measured it lately, but I do believe it's around the 11-inch height. I kind of feel like there's too many Voltrons already fighting for that space. You've got all of these other ones that are out there, the original one, obviously, and then you have Toynami, and then you had some other ones come along. This one at that level, the Toynami is supposed to be the masterpiece. So there's so many already operating in this 10, 11-inch space. Now we have 3-0, I think is the other one, and I got that one, and that one's pretty nice, but kind of mixes the difference between the two. But I still didn't think this one matched the aesthetic of the cartoon for me. I didn't like the aesthetic of this at first. Then when it came out and people were buying it on the secondary market for $700, $800, I got to thinking, well, maybe there's something about it I just don't know, and I did get the reissue. Never opened it, but I do have the Fantasy Jewel. Now, let's see what Fantasy Jewel did with it. Now, Fantasy Jewel came out with theirs, and some people had problems with their shoulders. I did not. My shoulders are fine. They're all fine here. How are you? But a lot of people did have problems with their shoulders. So we're saying QC issues on the Fantasy Jewel. They did not vac metalize the horns. And there are a few things that make the original SoC better than the Fantasy Jewel. But SoC was $300. This was about $180 if you add them all up, the individual ones. But then I think the way the math worked on it was it came out to around $210 or something like that if you bought it back as a set. I'm looking right now at Show Z, which, by the way, this is my first video that I made for Show Z, and I got my video right here on this page. But yeah, it was $210 for a full set of 5, but they also sold them individually, separately, if you wanted to buy one at a time and build them as they manufactured them. One of the things the Fantasy Jewel set did not do was provide all of the accessories and this wonderful stand. They did get a lot of the accessories. I'm not sure, I'm not even remembering at this point, it was 2019. what was different about the accessories. But I do know you did not get that stand. And that was something I didn't really know when going into it, that I was not going to get a stand. And it didn't really bother me. At the end of the day, I didn't really care. I was just happy to have one. But around $200 for this back in the day. But now we've fast forwarded 4 years later, and you're still getting a Carbonics Blitzway that's 15 inches tall, that's based on a $700 figure for around the same price. And we've seen unprecedented inflation. The highest inflation in my lifetime. We could argue late 70s, early 80s, but there was less monetary manipulation. But still, crazy inflation going on, and yet they're able to offer a superior product, knocked off, by the way, for the same price as this knocked off one. Now, we've got all that figured out, right? That was the history. Well, no, they made a black version. I don't know why. And I remember thinking, it doesn't make sense to make a black version. Why would I want a black version? But the more I collect Voltron, the more I realize you want a black version because all of yours look the same. All of these Voltrons look so similar with the coloration that having something different on your shelf breaks it up. And I think that's why this sold out way faster than I thought it would. I thought this would sit forever unsold out, but it sold out pretty quick, and a lot of people were paying like $500 on the secondary market. I think you could still get one now for like $300. Since the whole collecting industry has cooled off quite a bit, I think this is up on eBay. You can get a used one for about $300, and that's not bad. An original price of $210 or something, so $300 is not a huge markup. But it's still pretty cool, and I kind of was thinking I wish I would have gotten it, but now I'm also thinking, you know what? What if they do this? What if the same people that did the Fantasy Jewel are doing this one with Blitzway, and they do a black version, and they do another for whatever version, maybe a transparent, I don't know. I don't know what all other versions they would make, and maybe they won't, but this is a precedent that was set by the Fantasy Jewel. So what does this mean for collectors going forward? Well, they're making this Voltron Legendary Defender version by Blitzway in a high-end premium scale, or high-end premium offering. I believe this will be the same exact size or very similar sizing to what happened with the original Linebot. But I did not like the look of this when Playmates did it. I thought the Playmates one looked kind of goofy and wonky, and as you can see, side by side, you can see what the Playmates one looked like. And you can see how this looks more interesting, more visually appealing. And that's kind of what you get when you have a premium high-end company making something. Even if it's based on the source material looking a little goofy, they can still make it look good. Just imagine Fans Toys making something like this. They would still make it look a little more heroic, better proportions, make it look a little bit better. And I was never really impressed with what Playmates did with this. I did like the Playmates 1984 Classic version, but this does look fantastic. I look forward to it. But if it's $700, I think I'll wait for the KO. And just for fun, this is the Lion modes on the Legendary Defender that's coming from Blitzway, Carbonics, all that, pretty soon. Still, that's the cat mode, the lion mode, and looks like we're still going to get the same stand and compatibility with the stand. So pretty interesting stuff they've got going on right there. And there's another company out there, I believe, making one of these. Or maybe they both show the same model. But this does kind of get back to me thinking about what's going on with Fans Toys getting knocked off, and when you see KOs that get color variations, I can't help but think about the Voltrons out there that got knocked off in color variations. And then this just feels very similar. These feel like they're in the same vein, or up the same alley, or maybe down the same alley. And so all the similarities here between what I'm seeing with this, which I have this, and I think it's really awesome. In fact, my son's super into Transformers. When he walks in the room and he sees that, it's something new on the shelf, it just catches his eye. Probably because it's orange, and there's not a whole lot of orange on the shelf. But still, would that black Voltron look good? Probably. And the last point is, of course, Blitzway will match up to your Matchbox. Since it's 15 inches, Matchbox around 15 inches, they look good side by side. That's kind of one of the first things I thought when I said, They're making it the same exact size as the original Matchbox vehicle Voltron. But there is a problem with vehicle Voltron because it seems like it just doesn't sell well. It doesn't sell nearly as well as a Lionbot. I feel like I wish I had hard numbers. Again, I get a lot of flack for not having hard numbers. Nobody has the hard numbers on it. But I feel like they sell 5 Lionbots to 1 vehicle Voltron. And that's just the way it feels when you look at how quickly Lionbots sell out versus this thing never selling out. Then, that's the kind of gut feeling that I've got. But I still want to see Blitzway take this on and give us a modern 15-inch version. But it hasn't been done yet, hasn't been announced yet, but it's been teased. It's been teased, but not officially announced. But if they do come out with it, I would support it. But then again, would I wait for the KO? I don't know. So anyway, I found this to be a very interesting bit of news from last week, and pretty exciting. And now that a few things have changed, finding out about that stand being sold separate, finding out that they've lowered the price on this $16 at Show Z, and of course you put TH Reviewer code, kind of help me out. If you decide to get it there, there's other places I'm sure you can find it. But let me know what you guys think about this whole situation, and are you in on this? And I like to make noise about it so you don't miss out. But something like this sells out, they usually don't continue doing runs of this. But like and subscribe, let me know in the comments below. Tadirum Hanger out.